Here's an overview of the Surveys app on Makerble. So you could start off by clicking Explore in the top menu, and it takes you to Explore Surveys. This is where you can see some of the publicly available surveys that have already been added to Makerble. For example, the short changes in Outlook questionnaire, which is a survey that people can use to get an understanding of a person's mental health. When you click the survey, it takes you to this. This is the survey template page. Now, whether you create your own survey from scratch, or we create a survey for you during onboarding, or you use one of the existing surveys, there'll always exist this survey template page here. You can tell it's the survey template page because it has the title of the survey, it has an add to projects button, and on the right it's got a projects using the survey box. And so the way that Makerble works is a survey template such as this is inanimate. I mean, you can see the survey here, but it's just very much a preview. The way that you use it is you add it to a project. So that's why on Makerble we put so much emphasis on having projects. You simply click add to projects and it will give you a pop-up. It will already show the projects of yours that are using the survey already, and then you'll be able to select additional projects of yours that you want to add the survey to. When you press save, the system will then add that survey template to that particular project, and we call that creating a survey campaign. You'll also see a notification here just letting you know that it's been added. At this point, just refresh the page. When you refresh the page and it reloads, then the key thing we're looking at is the projects using the survey box, because this box will now display that new project that we added the survey template to. So if we click show all, then it now lists all of these projects that the survey's been added to, and the one that we added it to is exercise classes. If I click exercise classes, which is the name of the project, it takes me to the survey campaign page. So the survey campaign page is this. This is the page that lets you use the survey in a particular project. You will notice that it says the name of the survey, and then it says on, and then it says the name of the project. And to guide you further, it says the name of the project here, which you can click to go to the project page, and then clicking this, the survey, will take you back to the survey template page. When you're on this survey campaign page, then there are 5 tabs, and the first one is Start. And so this lets you use the survey in a variety of ways. The first 3 are things that can only be done by somebody who is already signed in. So if I click ways to use this survey completed by you and your team about one contact, it will load in a different tab if you do it in a different tab the survey campaign page, which you can, the complete survey page, where you can complete this survey for a single contact. Now, in this particular project, there aren't actually any contacts that exist, which is why it doesn't give me the option to select a contact to complete this survey on the behalf of. So I can get around that by creating a contact in this project. I'll click go back to the project page, I'll select contacts, and then, okay, there is this contact, but she might be restricted for various reasons. So I'll create a new contact, select exercise classes, call this person Jane Hall, press save. Now Jane has been created as a contact. I'm going to reload this complete a survey page. I'm going to select only one contact, and now it lets me select Jane. And so I can now complete this survey for Jane, and I could also backdate it to say, imagine like this survey might actually have been completed in January, and so I'm backdating it. Each of the questions appear. I can select the answer that was correct for Jane when we did this together in January. Questions can be set as mandatory or optional. All of these have now been completed, and the survey has been completed and it will be stored on the record for Jane. That is the first way that you can complete a survey. The other way that you can complete a survey, and we're just going to go back to the project page or the survey campaign page. So I'm clicking to go to the project, and then from here on the project page on the right it says surveys, and now it says the surveys that are being used on this project. So I'll select this particular survey template, and it takes me back to the survey campaign page. Again, it's this survey template on this project. So we've looked at how you can complete an update or a survey for one contact. If there were multiple contacts within the project, so let's create a new contact within this project. So exercise classes, we'll select contacts. Now we're going to create another contact within the exercise classes project. We'll call this contact Jim. So now if we select complete an update by our team but about many contacts, when the complete a survey page loads here, it's set to several contacts, and now rather than displaying the questions as they did for only one contact, it does it as a table. So for each question I can now select the responses for Jane and Jim at the same time. And so for all of the contacts that exist in the project, I could complete this survey for all of them. And I'm going to backdate this to say one that we did in March. If we'd selected anonymous, the anonymous option, which is this third one here using anonymous data, then it would only display this box, but I'll skip that for now. But let's say we're doing this survey, we've got Jane's response, Jim's response, and let's say actually there were 10 other people in the room that we did this survey with, and 5 of them selected disagree a little, 5 of them selected agree a little. You can put in these anonymous responses as well, and it goes up to 12 to say there's 1, 2, 7, 12 responses so far. So you can complete the survey for multiple people at the same time in this way. I'm just going to scroll to the end rather than completing the whole survey, and that's the other way that a survey can be completed. Now the other ways are completed by others, and one of the first ways you might use this is sending personalized survey links via email. So this is what you'll use if you want to send this survey to, say, Jim or Jane via email. When we select this option, we can choose whether the survey is set to expire or whether it remains active, and we can choose whether it will actually send them a real email or whether it will just generate a link. If I have it set to the default, when I select Jane, the system will recognize we don't have an email address for Jane, so it's going to ask us to put in an email address. I can instead select send the unique survey link manually, and it will still enable me to add her. And the same with Jim. With Jim, I'll send the link manually, and Jim is added. If we were sending it via email, we could nevertheless though add a message that people receive, and we could set up reminders that people get, so that if they haven't completed the survey within a particular date range, then they'll get those reminders. What I'm going to do is actually turn it all to, okay, it won't let me do that because of the Loom option, but I'll just click send surveys. And what the system has done is generated some unique links. And so this is the link for Jane to complete the survey, and this is the link for Jim to complete the survey. So let's say I send this to Jane via email or via WhatsApp, or I just store it for when I'm next seeing her in person. When I load this link, it now lets this survey be completed by Jane, and the response that is being saved here will automatically be tagged as being something that's being completed by Jane, and it will exist on her Makerble profile. So I can click submit and it will say thank you, you've completed this survey. This is something that anybody could do when they're not signed in. It's a private link. So let me go back into the platform. So that's the other way that you can use surveys. And then the final way that people have been using the surveys is the 360 option. And so this is, let's say Jane is someone who we're working with, but rather than sending the survey to Jane, we want to send the survey to Jane's husband and to her children to get their perspective on whether she has improved her outlook. So to do that, we would, if we were again not sending it via email, we'd select send survey links, not manually, but here we can then add in different, what we call perspective providers, who have been previously set up in the system, and we can then add these people. So let's say that Jim is actually her son. We can add these people, and then it will then send the survey to Jim to be completed to give a perspective on Jane, and we can then send that survey, and Makerble would generate the responses that are tagged accordingly. The other part of the survey campaign page is the response rate tab that shows you how many responses there have been to each survey, and the analyze tab that then shows you the distribution of results to each of the different questions. Those are the main tools that you'll use within the Surveys app on Makerble.